where you don't have direct sources for that, you have to keep the syllabus. You have to by heart the syllabus in such a way that whenever while reading newspaper you just find that something in common to this syllabus, immediately you have to store it as answer to these things, and that is definitely going to take a lot of time. So we at Vignan IAS will be giving you handouts at each month end regarding these general syllabus topics. Suppose this month along with the current affairs will be giving you under these topics. So this is the, suppose there is some news item on effects of globalization on women in India, or effects of globalization on children in India, will be given those, you will be given those news items as handouts at the end of the month, so that you don't have to even sweat for these general topics while preparing for mains. All right, now coming to next one, salient features of world geography. Again the same thing, if you're thorough with your first paper, then world geography covering the same concept shouldn't be tough here. Okay, now distribution of key natural resources, important geographical phenomena, these are again the standard concepts what you cover in the first paper, and for that you have to practice writing answers for mains. As I've told you, the general terms what is there in the syllabus, you don't have to sweat out. We'll be providing the handouts at the end of every month, so that by the end of the coaching cycle year, where you'll be ready to write your mains, these will serve as your notes as well. All right, hope you are clear with this. Now if anyone has doubts regarding anything in this paper, they can just kindly let me know. Anybody? Regarding
No,
anything?
No doubt, sir.
Okay, now we'll move on to the next one. General Studies paper 2, which is like governance, constitutional, polity, social justice, and international relations. And this paper, let me tell you, you have seen like this entire syllabus is divided into these many subtopics. And this is the most balanced paper in UPSC mains, where questions will be equally distributed on all these concepts. There will be some number of questions on governance, and there will be some number of questions on constitution. So you can't never neglect any of these concepts in the entire syllabus. Now coming to this entire paper, this 80 to 90% of the paper is mostly related to current affairs. I guess, as again I've told you, you have to read only the basic stuff from Polity Lakshmikant, and for mains of all these headings, you don't have to again trouble yourself. At the end of each month, we'll be giving you handouts of the general topics, so that your notes for your mains preparation as well will be covered in this. All right, we'll be moving on to the next paper, which is technology, economic development, biodiversity, environment, security, and disaster management. Again, here the questions will be of same nature. See, let me give an example. During 2016 or 17, there was Chennai floods, right? So, under disaster management, question was there on Chennai floods, which was framed under disaster management. Same question of Chennai floods was framed under polity paper as a public policy or a policy which is related to governance. Whether our urbanization policies are efficient to handle any national disasters like Chennai floods or not was the question. The same question was framed under paper 1 in terms of geography. So what is the reason of major floods in the entire country, and how being going to be a district magistrate of some district, or how we are able to manage those disasters in a district. So the single questions regarding Chennai floods and urbanization have been appeared in all those papers. And those kind of questions are the questions where they have much relevance with current affairs. So technology, economic development, biodiversity, environment, security, and disaster management. Again, these paper 80 to 90% is more of generalized nature, where you will be given handouts at Vignan IAS at the end of every month. So that, see, generalist students, where they make mistakes in their initial stage of preparation is that they don't know exactly what to read. They don't know exactly what not to read. Okay, they don't know how to write an answer, how to gather material. So we are doing that for you. We are going to give you handouts for all these topics which are generalized nature. So it's just enough if you revise them again and again and write answers on them. Okay, rest many of the static parts in the syllabus you can cover from your static source, which I'll be telling you in the next paper. Now the main aspect of coming to notification in the orientation session. See, initially they have given, UPSC has given hints about mains answers what they're expecting from students. Same way, UPSC has given hints about ethics paper, like what it is expecting from ethics paper. This will include, see the note given, this will include questions to test the candidate's attitude and approach to issues relating to integrity, probability in public life, and his problem solving approach to various issues. Okay, so this paper can expect a lot of questions, and let me tell you, the main aspect of clearing mains lies in 3 papers. One is essay, the other one is ethics, and the third one is optional. So if you are only able to score very well in ethics, then you can have high chances of clearing mains. Now coming to ethics, UPSC deliberately makes this paper very comprehensive, I mean very time taking, since there are many words mentioned here. As you can see, ethics in human values, dimensions of ethics, ethics in private and public partnership, then human values from the lives of teachings of great leaders. So you have very good amount of the concepts which you have to learn, the terms which you have to learn. So ethics paper will be divided into two sections, section 1 and section A. In section 1, questions will be entirely on these theoretical concepts, ethics and values and all. And section 2, let me tell you, this is very much important. Section 2, case studies on above issues. Okay, this is very much important. So in section 2, there will be 6 to 8 case studies. I'll tell you an example. What does a case study exactly look? This is a case study given in UPSC papers. It is given like this. Payment questions will be like this. You're an employee and you have been struggling to get a job from past 2 to 3 years, and you got a job as a supervisor in a chemical company which manufactures chemicals. All right, but the hierarchy in that factory is very much high that if you do something which is unpleasant to your superiors, there is very much danger to your job. At the same time, after some 2 to 3 months of your service, you came to notice that because of the pollutants released from this chemical factory, the villages nearby are very much affected, and it's very much resulting into health problems of the villages. And everybody knows this even in the office, but everybody keeps silent because they don't want to get fired. But you are a kind of person who have who doesn't whose inner conscience doesn't let you to keep quiet. On the other side, since I've told you are very much in need of job, you can't just take this matter to superiors and lose your job. So being in that situation, what is the course of action that you take, and what is the best option available to you, and why so? This was the case study given. Is it clear? Am I audible?
Yes,
Yeah,
you're audible.
Okay, so this is a kind of case study given, and you have to list out the various options, and you have to tell why is that option and why so. So like this, 6 to 8 case studies will be given. The deliberate attempt of making the paper lengthy is that if you keep writing all those lengthy answers in stage 1, you'll be brought to a pressure situation when you're answering case studies in paper 2, where you can't bluff the answers, where you'll just write the answers whatever comes to your mind, and in that way putting you in a pressure situation. They'll be able to analyze your critical thinking ability and your values to deal with the problem. What is your problem solving approach? So when you're in pressure, what is the problem solving approach expressed by you in the in the answer sheets will be evaluated by the faculty, and if you answered it correctly, you can score easily very good number of marks in ethics paper. And this paper is very much important for clearing mains, let me tell you. Okay, now coming to optional paper, again there will be many optional papers mentioned, out of which you have to choose one depending upon the criteria, as I've told, like what optional to focus and why. Okay, so this is the end of notification presentation. Why I stress on this? Because these are the important points where students generally neglect. I mean, they don't exactly take the words given by UPSC. See, UPSC has clearly mentioned what one is expecting from mains answer writing, and what one is expecting from ethics papers. And he has clearly given, like for GSAT, you don't have to afraid. It's only 10th class nature. So these important words in the notification does matter a lot, where nobody teaches you this. And now coming to the syllabus, I'm telling you this day itself, just note down the syllabus, just take a print of it, and always keep it in hand while reading any newspaper or while reading any book. Because whenever you see some news item in a newspaper, just see where under which part of the syllabus that news item falls. In this way, you can easily able to brainstorm your answers, as well as you'll have a perfect approach while writing answers. Now coming to program at Vignan IAS, once I'll explain you the program at Vignan IAS, and after this I'll tell you in the slides presentation what basic books you have to get for each subject. Now coming to program at Vignan IAS Institute, as I've told you, we have covered the program in 3 stages. Stage 1, as I've told you, with respect to NCRTs, and at the end of the week you'll be given short MCQ test. Then stage 2, with respect to reference books, at the end of the week 50 questions. Stage 3, it's overall revision classes, where you'll be given mocks similar to UPSC prelims. Now coming to mains, we'll be covering ethics and essay paper along with stage 2, where you have to write 10 questions every week, and you have to get the answers evaluated by the faculty. Now, because of COVID-19 situation, now what all the things we are going to provide from our institute? First thing is program, clear program, and mock test. See, imagine each day you are solving 50 questions. I mean, each week you are solving 50 questions, and this way we make you solve 1000 to 1500 number of questions on NCRTs itself, so that your 40 to 45 questions will have grip on them. Then again, we have around 400 to 500 questions from standard reference books which we are giving you. That also will solve your problem. I mean, you will develop the elimination technique. Not only that, apart from that, we'll be giving you handouts of every session. Now, because of this COVID-19 issue, we are going to conduct classes online in a separate web-based platform, where once after your admission process is done, will be given separate mail ID and password, where you can just log in into that, and there the class will be live classes as well as recorded classes will be uploaded syllabus wise, chapter wise, and day wise, along with the handouts of the class then and there itself, so that you can just log in, listen to the class, see the handout. If you wish, you can download, take a printout of that, read again and again. And even the test series will be conducting online itself, where you will be able to solve the test series then and there itself. So at each crucial stage of your preparation, like prelim stage, we have this program exclusively dedicated to NCRTs. Then at main stage, we have program exclusively dedicated to writing answers. In this way, in this way our program is designed. Now, coming to the online program, so this is like orientation session. Once this is done, next session will start with newspaper reading. Why? Because I'll explain that why newspaper reading. Okay, so you'll be given ID and password where you can log into your online account, listen to classes every day, or will beforehand will give the schedule of the class. You can log in that time, see the class, make a note of it, or take a printout of it. What we have uploaded there, everything will be uploaded onto the website where you can follow regularly. Okay. Now, suppose if you want to attend the class offline, once this COVID-19 situation eases, you can attend the same classes offline as well. The program will be will be covered parallelly both online and offline, so that whoever want to continue to online, they can continue online, and whoever wish to come to institution, they can come and listen the same classes. Classes schedule and program won't differ for online and offline, they will be the same. Okay. Now we'll be giving you, along with this class handouts, at each month, and I told you the mains material, the generalized concepts where you don't find material elsewhere, will be giving you that. Okay. This is the program. And next thing, i'll I'll just with a presentation tell you, okay, exactly what sources to follow in prelims, what sources to follow, the basic sources what one should have, okay, to clear prelims comfortably, and what we are going to do at Vignan IAS. First thing, the doubts normally students what generally have initial stage of preparation. Let me tell you, these are the things which you should remember forever in your initial stage of preparation, because these are the steps where your time will be saved, and these are the mistakes which one should not commit. Generally students will commit initial mistakes like they don't read newspapers, they don't know when to make notes, how to make notes, they don't know what to read, what not to read, and in that way they'll be wasting their initial stage of preparation. And now to answer all those questions, I've come up with a presentation along with the doubts as well as the basic sources to follow for. Now coming to newspapers versus magazines, whether one should read a magazine or one should read a newspaper. See, why I showed you the notification is that in notification itself, specifically UPSC is mentioning like we are going to test the basic awareness as well as the answering ability of a candidate. That you won't get if you just mug up magazines. Let me warn you, that you will get only when you read the newspapers. Again, in newspapers, there are certain issues to be followed. Like you'll be having some news. One is facts, second one is issues, and third one is unnecessary stuff. So coming to facts, take for example, every Friday in the Hindu edition, you will be having a special edition on Indian culture where dances will be covered, paintings will be covered. So you have to pick points from that. Let me warn you, in 2016, 2015. Okay, so they ran series of articles in Friday edition of Hindu on Indian saris. So two questions were picked from the newspapers directly based upon the Indian saris which have got geographical indication status. Likewise, you have to cleverly pick pointers for prelims for newspapers, and that you can do only when you are thorough with the syllabus. So the next session we deliberately made it the session on newspapers where we'll be covering how to read a newspaper in exam perspective with syllabus in hand. One is the Hindu paper, and the other one will be covering either Live Mint or Economic Times. If one is good with Economic Times, they can straight away go with that paper. If one is not comfortable with Economic Times, they can start with Live Mint as well. So newspaper is the best thing, because without reading newspaper, you won't get that analytical ability to write answers. Because in newspaper, there is one important section which we call as editorial paper, where some kind of celebrity or some kind of bureaucrat, some kind of specialist and generalist, they'll be given their own opinions on issues. So once you see that interview and once you take all points in mind, then only you can develop your own perspective and write multi-dimensional answers. So in UPSC, answer should be multi-dimensional, where you have to balance see, in notification itself, he has the UPSC has told like you have to give a conclusion for conflicting socio-economic goals and objectives. Now, what in editorial paper one bureaucrat does, suppose there is a social policy, he'll write editorial on that social policy, pros and cons. So, taking that points in mind, you have to give your own conclusion. If you were in that position, what you would have done. So, that's what is being expected in your essay as well as mains papers. So, that will be only possible when you read newspapers. Initially, it may take time. I'll tell you, initially, it may take time. It may take 2.5 to 3 hours to cover a newspaper in the initial stages. But let me tell you, the rate of return on spending newspapers are very high, very, very high. You'll exactly pick your current affairs points. As I've shown you in prelims as well, most of the subjects like economy and polity or environment are linked to current affairs. So only if you're thorough with the newspapers, you'll be able to write in your notes about that facts, as well as you will be able to write the answers correctly. So regarding this doubt, like newspapers versus magazines, newspapers you have to follow, and you can complement that current affairs at the end of the month with a magazine. See, you would have read the newspapers, you would have made your own notes of current affairs. Apart from that, we'll be giving you the handouts in the institute itself regarding that week's current affairs, that you can complement with any one standard magazine, so that you can cross check yourself if you missed upon anything. All right, so reading newspapers, you can skip it. You have to do that. Now coming to online or offline note making for all subjects. Let me tell you. See, initially when you start your preparation, now coming to the first concept of note making. Keep this in mind. Never ever make a note of any book unless you have read it 2 to 3 times. Or else it's just that you are copy pasting everything from the standard book, and that's like a simple clerical work that won't be helpful for your revision as well. So whenever you are making note, make sure that you have read the sources 2 to 3 times at least. Only then you make the note. Again, coming to online versus offline note making. See, you have 7 types of topics in general studies of paper one, like history, geography, economy, polity, science, and all. So the thing is that take a separate note, and suppose you dedicate that note to history. First thing what you'll do, you'll read all the basic books, you'll read them 3 times, then you'll highlight the points in your standard reference books, and any point if you feel like this may come in prelims, you just make a note of that points in your standard book. Again, suppose take case of polity. In polity, you'll find some stuff in current affairs. You can current affairs facts as well. You can make a note of it in the same notebook. And now once you're thorough with your stage 1 and stage 2 preparation, you'll be solving around 50 to 100 tests totally in the final stages. So whenever you solve test series from the market, you will yourself see, suppose you have read insights thoroughly and you're okay with your general studies preparation, then when you're solving your test series, you will come to know the probable points for prelims. I mean, these questions may be asked in prelims. So that kind of questions, even you can make note of it in the same book. So instead of, what I'm telling you is that instead of maintaining hell lot of notebooks, maintain a single notebook. Okay, maintain a single notebook for the current affairs, for the basic stuff, as well as test series. So so now so now, at the end of your preparation, when prelims is nearing by, you will be having your own source, a solid source, which consists of current affairs, which consists of test series points, which consists of your own static notes. So in this way, this is going to help you at the end of your year before giving prelims, where you have to revise that book again and again. And let me remind you, most of the questions will be directly lifted from there. The more you revise your own notes, no notes is better than making your own notes. Take it for granted. The way, if you make the notes this way, then most of the questions will be lifted from that notes itself. So done with the note making. As I've told you, current affairs, you can read the newspaper initially. If you find time, then you can solve daily 5 questions on current affairs quiz, taking online from anywhere. Now regarding the newspapers, what newspapers to read? Hindu, as I've told you. And if you're good at economy, then go for Economic Times, or not, start with the Live Mint. And as I've told you, at Vignan IAS will be giving you class of current affairs either 3 days once or weekly once. Now as I've told you, prelims is all about constant revision and consistent revision. Why people generally fail is that it's not that they don't have the knowledge, it's not that they can't read. Anybody who has some basic knowledge of English can read any book, but it's all about people fails there because they don't read it continuously or consistently. Suppose you read this say for 10 hours, and then you take the gap of 3 to 4 hours, 3 to 4 days, and next you start the profession. No, that's not going to help you. Even if you're reading 3 hours a day, maintain it 6 days a week, read 3 hours continuously. So consistent preparation is the only key to crack prelims. Now coming to sources. What are the sources you should have for all the subjects? Now, before going for subject-wise sources, let me tell you, always, I'm stressing you this again and again because these are the basic things which are going to save time for you. These are the things which one realizes after 2 to 3 years of preparation. Okay, this is where I've done mistakes and now I have to rectify that mistakes. We are telling you this deliberately because the program structure designed by the faculty are the people who have cleared means themselves. So they know exactly where the students make mistakes, and we don't want you to make the same mistakes. So we are telling you each and every point so that you save your time and not repeat the mistakes what other students are making. For example, have syllabus copy always in hand, as I've told you. While reading a newspaper, if you find any news article, just try to brainstorm, think about the syllabus, under which part of the syllabus that news item falls. Then have weekly schedule. After attending classes, you'll be attending the classes. That's why even we design the classes weekly wise, so that you'll be attending the classes weekly wise, and have weekly schedule of your own preparation as well. See how much you are able to cover in a week, how much you are able to revise in a week. Have weekly schedule and have consistent revision for anything in the day. Suppose you have listened to only 1 hour of class that day. Sleep only when you have revised that 1 hour of class for 15 to 20 minutes. In this way, you will be able to have more retention of concepts, and you will be easy to revise. You will be having strong memory if you do that way. And if you just read 1 hour of class today and if you don't revise in that day itself, then it's like it's in vain. I mean, you can't remember that. Okay, that's thing. And next thing is, after syllabus, you have to have previous papers topic wise for prelims. This is very much important again, because every year, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, because every year
Yes, sir.
10 to
Audible.
12 questions will be directly lifted from previous papers. Now there are materials in the market like Disha Publications. You have a book where they'll be giving you prelims questions previous years topic wise. Like for ancient India, it will be segregated from 1995 to 2019, then from modern India, then for medieval India, then for polity. So get that book today itself. Along with that, get any good atlas, either Oxford or Orient Black Swan. Why previous questions? Because first thing is that if you're thorough with the previous questions, you'll have an edge of 10 to 15 marks than others. Next thing is that whenever you start reading in stage 2 and stage 3, to make sure that you don't deviate from the pattern asked by UPSC, if you see the previous questions and if you see them parallelly when reading the subjects, you will come to know exactly where UPSC is stressing upon, and you'll come to know where you have to stress more upon while reading. Okay, so that's where previous papers comes handy. Okay, so you can take good publications like Disha Publications, but make in every paper there'll be 2 to 3 errors, but make sure you at first reading, when you're reading, just Google the correct answer, and if you find it's correct, that's fine. But if you find any error, just rectify the answer there itself. Syllabus copy and consistent revision. Okay, this is very much important. Now coming to NCRTs, like why you have to read NCRTs. As I told you, 40 to 45 questions directly lifted from here. Never make a note before reading any NCRT 3 times. As I told you, MCQs we will be providing, but there will be some MCQs at the end of each chapter of every class NCRT. Let me tell you, you have to solve all of those, even that may be a class 6th NCRT or class 7th NCRT. At the end of each chapter, there will be some 4 to 5 true or false questions, and one match the following, and 1, 2 to 3 objective questions. Keep solving them regularly. These are the neglected areas where UPSC will ask questions from. We take silly for some concepts where UPSC see. For example, in 2016, there was a question, simple question, directly lifted from NCRTs. Which is the easternmost end of India and westernmost end of India? Simple question. Easternmost end of India and westernmost end of India. 50% of them made this wrong. Those question was directly lifted from true or false question of geography NCRTs of class 10th. So here is why you have to answer MCQs of each chapter at the end of each chapter. As well, they will be given some 2 to 3 subjective questions. So whenever you read some chapter, just read the question and try to brainstorm yourself. What are the points you are going to answer if you face the same question in mains? Okay. Never ever don't go for compilations in the market of NCRTs. Never ever do that. Why? Because we are anyway going to give you compilations ourselves for NCRTs, and don't buy some silly stuff from the market. Now NCRTs, there is nothing like old or new NCRTs. You can follow any of them. Now coming to download the NCRTs online, you can do that through a website called NoteMonk or Moodle or any other source like Pathashala. You have to download the NCRTs, and what NCRTs and from which class will tell you in the further slides. All right. Now coming to geography. For geography, first thing is you should need to buy Atlas, and now NCRT class 6 to 12th of geography you have to download, And for first couple of readings, read all the classes, that is from class 6 to 12. You find that half of the chapters will be repeated in class 6th and 7th, and the same chapters will be repeated in class 8th and 9th as well. But no problem. Read from start from reading class 6 to 12, and once you are done with 2 readings, then from third reading shift to class 9. Start from class 9 to class 12 books. As you have seen in the syllabus, geography is given in 3 types, like physical, social, and economic geography. So class 12th NCERTs are also divided into 3 types, and remaining in class 11th, you'll find a NCERT physical environment, which concentrates more on physical geography. And now suppose there may be some students for them who maybe geography may be very weak point, and those students who are unable to follow geography, they can go for these books. I am telling you, those students only who are unable to follow NCRTs. Let me remind you why, because if you follow both of this, that will be additional burden for you, and that would be a simply waste of time. So those who are not able to follow from the NCRTs, they can go for this book, Geography Through Maps by Wizard Publications, where the concepts will be explained along with showing maps in the book. So you can go for this. Now GC Leong is very much important for covering physical geography. All right. So these are the stuff where you have to read 3 times and where you have to make short note if possible, or else you can just underline in the reference box. Now apart from this, once you are done with 3 readings of this, parallelly at the end of each subject revision, you have to keep solving previous papers, so that you will come to know the pulse of UPSC, like what the previous questions UPSC asked, and now coming to this year, what UPSC may ask. And if ever you made notes, have you made the notes of relevant points, like somewhere is there relevance between previous questions asked by UPSC and your notes. Okay, now coming to note, maintain always a single notes. Current affairs concepts, see, you will find some place of contention between any 2 countries, then that place current affairs will be there, so just note down in that book. Along with that, previous papers you find some bit may be worth repeating, so just note down even that as well. And NCRT notes only if needed, because mostly NCRT notes will be like copy paste work. Instead of that, what I suggest you is that have 3 readings of NCRTs and just try underlining the important points. If you want, just underline the important points and include those important points in this your notebook. Okay, so these are the sources for geography. Now coming to history again, you have to follow the textbooks from class 6 to 12. But in class 11th, you have a textbook on ancient and medieval Indian history where you can skip it. I am telling you to skip class 11 NCRT of ancient and medieval history, because in those NCRT books, it will lead to confusion. Because take the case of Buddhism chapter, it will be covered in one chapter half. Then after 2 to 3 chapters, again the same thing will be continued. So while reading in history initially, you'll get frustrated. So if you want, try to make a note of it. Class 11th ancient and medieval NCRTs, you can just directly skip them. Then what to read for ancient? Instead of class 11th NCRT, read Tamil Nadu NCRT of class 11th for ancient and medieval. It is very crisp, neat, and chronological. Okay, very crisp, neat, and chronological. So read Tamil Nadu NCRTs for class 11th for ancient and medieval. Don't read NCRTs of class 11th and 12th. Now for modern Indian history, there is one single book, that is Spectrum Publications. Indian Modern History by Spectrum Publications is the only thing. Now whether you have to make notes, no, you don't have to make notes for history. All you have to do is just solve the questions at the end of each chapter and try revising them. And now Spectrum, beauty of this book is that at the end of each chapter, they will be only giving summary pages of that chapter in Spectrum book itself. So it's enough even if you re-revise the summary pages of Spectrum. Okay, now once you are done with all these things, once you have read NCRTs, once you have read Spectrum, then if you want, you can solve objective history questions from Lucent's GK. It's just like to check yourself whether you have covered all points in basic books or not. Now coming to art and culture, there is single book for art and culture, that is Indian Culture by Nitin Singhania. Okay, so here again, whenever you are reading ancient and medieval history, parallelly you can read the concerned chapters of cultures from Nitin Singhania, so that you don't have to read the culture part separately. As I've told you, don't go for note making. Again, same as history, have separate notes for history. Again, same as geography, have separate for notes for history, where you will be entering your current affairs important points. Then if you solve some test series, there will be some important points which you can enter in the same book. And summary pages of Spectrum, if you find something important, you can write in the same book. So at the end of your prelims preparation, before your prelims exam, this will be your single source for revision, where you revise your notes multiple times and you can answer the questions comfortably. Don't go for note making. Don't go for note making for history and geography. Now coming to economy, it's enough if you cover NCERTs from class 10 to 12, and even in class 12, it's enough if you cover only macroeconomics instead of microeconomics. There are two textbooks. If you cover only macroeconomics, that's fine. Okay. Now coming to next good book, there is a book by Shankar Ganeshan, Indian Economy by Shankar Ganeshan. He has covered the basic concepts very well. It's like a handy book where hardly 150 to 200 pages will be there, and you can read comfortably with small figures of small concepts. Okay. So follow Indian Economy by Shankar Ganeshan. After this, if you find time, then you can go for Sriram IAS notes, which will be bulky, but it will be worth reading it. It's a standard book everyone will follow, and you don't have to miss on that. Okay. Now after that, you have to cover economic survey and budget and schemes. Schemes are very much important. Every year, 5 to 6 questions will be directly lifted from schemes, both for prelims and mains. So these things at Vignan, as I am telling you, we'll be having separate sessions for economic survey, separate session on budget, and separate session on schemes. We'll be even giving you the handout as well. What I'm trying to is that having written all these things, we are going to make easy students uh, your job. I mean, you have to utilize your time productively based upon the concepts what you have to. I mean, the stuff what you have to do. You don't have time for the stuff what generally students neglect or what students generally make mistakes. No, we are guiding you in a right way in the form of 3 stages, and along with that, we are giving even you the handouts of the concerned chapters. As I've told you, the same with the history. If you want, there will be initial 5 year plans where they lost their relevance now in prelims. But if you want even to read that, then you can just once go through Lucen's GK economic concepts in that. Now coming to environment, there is standard book for this. That is Shankar IAS latest edition. Mostly part of your environment will be covered in geography textbooks itself. But as I've told you, in prelims environment, most questions will be related to current affairs. So if you read Shankar IAS, then 4 to 5 basic questions what you get from environment, you can do that. As well as in environment, 2 to 3 questions will be on organizations on national and international. See, there will be some national organizations especially dedicated to saving the environment. Then there will be some NGOs internationally. They'll be dedicated to saving the environment. So those about those organizations also you can find in Shankar IAS latest book. Then again, maintain separate notes for environments, a little bit small notes where a test series points you can include in that. Then current affairs notes you can include that. Then note making of only short concepts. Don't make the entire note of Shankar IAS. It's just underlining is enough. Okay. Now coming to art and culture, as told you, Friday edition of the Hindi is very much, very much important. Why? Because no, every year, I mean, every twice or once in at least, there'll be questions on geographical indications. What are the products which got geographical indication? And that will be discussed in Friday edition of the Hindu paper every week. So this also will be covered. Now, Nitin Singhani, as I've told you, no. Once you're reading ancient medieval, parallelly cover the concerned chapters from Nitin Singhania. Again, say maintain a separate small notes, current affairs, and test series points. It include here. Now coming to class, I mean science. You don't have to do anything, literally nothing for science. We at Vignan we will be giving you compilations of NCERT science. Why? Because NCERT science textbooks, if you start from class 6 to 12th, UPSC pattern of asking questions will be in one way, and NCERT subjects will be in the other way. So it will be hard for you to lineate. So to save your time, we'll be giving you the entire compilations of science NCERTs. So if you just read that science NCERT compilation, that's enough. You don't have to look anything else. If you feel low confidence or if you feel like no, that's not enough, then you can go for Lucen's GK solving MCQs of basic science, which will help you do that. Now, along with these standard topics, then there is miscellaneous questions like organizations of national and international importance. Like, take for example, this year G7 they are going to conduct virtually. The same way there is BRICS, there is something known as SARC, there is something known as IMF, there is something known as World Bank. So these organizations, there will be bits on this organization every year. Then reports and editions. Every year, 2 to 3 questions will be on reports given by various organizations and India rank in that. Then events. UPSC never in these last 5 to 10 years never is asking questions on personalities. It's only stressing on events, as I've told you in prelims paper 1. Now schemes, again we'll be giving you the handout, no need to worry about that. So these miscellaneous concepts, whenever you find something in newspaper, for miscellaneous especially, maintain a separate notes, because these are going to give you edge over others of 4 to 5 marks. Definitely 4 to 5 marks minimum, that is, and 10 marks depending upon the number of miscellaneous questions asked. Again, maintain a separate note so that whenever questions there is some report and there is some rank given to India, or there is some organization assembling at somewhere, just make a short note of it along with the test series questions. Now coming to polity. In polity, from class 6 to 12, the NCERT books will be on the heading of social and political life books. Now let me tell you, these NCERT social and political life books, it's enough if you just give 1 to 2 reading. Okay, just know about the terminology mentioned in that book, and that's enough for polity. Now for polity, there is class 11th NCERT, which is like Indian Constitution at work, which you have to read it multiple times. Let me tell you, this is the most important NCERT for polity, where 4 to 5 questions will be directly lifted from here. And there is one good golden book for polity, which is Lakshmi Kant. Okay, this is the only book for polity where the syllabus covered in comprehensive way, along with you have mock questions in the end, and you have previous questions covered in the end, you have constitutional amendments covered in the end. There are various annexures in the book itself. So if you are able to read Lakshmikant thoroughly, let me tell you, initially to revise Lakshmikant once, it may take you 12 to 15 days of time, but when you revise it multiple times, you can cover the entire book in 3 to 4 days. Okay, so you should cross check yourself whether you are able to completely revise the book in 3 to 4 days. Then okay, fine, you have revised it very well, or else you have to keep revising. Now, you should never make note out of polity from Lakshmikant. You should never do that because it's literally a time waste. Instead, you should read Lakshmikant thrice, and from the fourth time, you just after seeing the previous papers, just try to highlight that with the help of highlighter. I just try to underline the important points. So that points will be included in your note, which already includes current affairs as well as test series. All right, this is all about polity. Now mains, we have completely different approach along with stage two, and for mains, as I've told you, in stage two along with prelims itself, okay, we'll be along with prelims itself, we'll be covering ethics and essay paper. Now once the prelims course get over, then we'll start immediately for mains, where same again entire 4 papers of GS will be covered weekly wise, and you'll be given weekly wise classes. At the end of the week, you'll be given 10 questions for each paper to answer. And now coming to number of tests for prelims, we are providing, apart from, see, let me tell you, apart from weekly MCQs what we are giving in a comprehensive way, for prelims we are totally giving you 18 mock tests for paper 1 and 8 mock tests for paper 2. And now coming to mains, for each general studies paper we are giving you 8 mock tests, 8 mock tests for each general studies paper. And for optional paper we are giving you 12 mock tests. Okay, same way we have divided for mains as well, like stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3, you can see here. Okay, for mains again we'll be telling you one single reference book. By this time, by the time you write your prelims, what you'll be having in your hand, you'll be having entire handouts of the class. Then most of the syllabus of the general syllabus of this mains you'll be having in the form of handouts in your hand, so that soon after prelims you can easily revise those handouts again and again, and you have to concentrate only on writing answers. So we are doing your job easy for even giving you the material for mains as well in the form of handouts for generalized topics, so that you can focus that 3 months or 4 months gap only in writing answers. So this is the program at Vignan IS. As I've told you exactly what is given in the notification, what concepts. Now at Vignan IS, let me tell you, this is where we are banking upon. We are trying to save the time of the students, like guiding them in a right way at each stage of the exam, like prelims, mains, and interview. And we are helping them with not repeating the mistakes where what other students do and waste their valuable time. So at each stage, see, first stage you will be having sound grip on NCRTs, then second stage your reference books will be completed, and third stage it's like continuous revision. Now coming to the timings and fee structure of the class, because of the COVID issue, presently we are conducting online classes where you'll be given separate mail ID and password. Okay, and your classes will be updated regularly in that website. You can log in anytime, and the concerned PDF of that class will be uploaded in the same website. You can log in anytime, listen to the class, download the PDF. Then at the end of the week, MCQs will be posted there, you have to answer them. In this way you can continue with the online classes. Suppose if you feel like attending offline classes, you can as well do that, because the same program structure as well as same classes will be dealt both online and offline. Okay, so any more doubts regarding the exam pattern or the number of books? Are you guys online?
Yeah.
Any more doubts regarding exam, the syllabus, the sources to follow, or anything else? Okay, so that's it, the end of the orientation session. So the next session will be on newspapers next week, most probably next week. Okay, so the newspaper session will be starting in the separate web-based platform, where Hindu paper as well as Mint paper will be covered in that week, and thereafter followed by regular weekend classes. Hope now most of your doubts are cleared. Okay, have a good day.
Thank you.